It's a game about emotions, connection, close plays, broken records, triumphs.
I've seen a lot of things in professional sports, but never in my life have I seen anything like this.
And championships.
Left side, Swanson to first. The Browns are world champions.
Join us each week as we watch these stories unfold. On Talking Baseball with Sal Angioletti.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are welcoming you live to a Wednesday edition of Talking Baseball with Sal Angioletti. As you can tell, I'm Matt Siriani. I'm in the studio by myself, but by no means am I alone. I got the man, the myth, the legend, Sal Angioletti, the man who brought this whole show together live via Zoom in an undisclosed location. That's how I like to say it. And then producing is Mr. CJ Cullen, a good friend of mine. CJ, how you doing?
Hey, how are you? I don't have a mic on, but I'll move that over.
Okay, sounds good. Sal, how are you, man?
What's going on, guys?
We're doing good. Right now, like I said, Carl Maglowski is not here at the moment as we speak. But don't worry, like I said, we got a jam-packed show here today.
Oh, yeah.
And
How about, I'm sorry to interrupt, guys. CJ, how are you? It's been a long time. Always good to see and hear you, as always, with the wonderful producers over at the Shared Universe Podcast Studio.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, baby. We are 3 shows into the new era, as we call it, the reincarnation of Talking Baseball.
Yep.
Matty Ice, let's start the show with a big announcement. How about we do this? I'm all decked out with the Talking Baseball shirt. Of course, my Undertaker cap from the Hall of Fame in Dallas when I won a couple of years ago, but that's nothing.
hold on. Let me set you up. Drum roll, please.
Hit it. All right, folks. Like I said last week, I don't want to knock on doors. We're going to start kicking them down. And here's the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Next Wednesday night, live at 7 p.m., that'll be July the 10th. Radio Garden State, baby. Talking Baseball with Sal Angioletti, Jersey's newest internet radio station. We will be their first sports programming. Let's give it up. I want to thank Mike Ham out there. Mike, if you're watching, thank you. And we always got to thank everybody with us. Matty Ice, Big C, K-Wall, CJ, Ming, Christian, everybody. And the new gentleman. Who's the new gentleman again?
Ethan,
yeah. And we met Ethan last week over in Bell Works. We haven't been there in a bit, but it's great.
I haven't met him yet.
You haven't met Ethan yet?
I haven't met him yet.
And we're back in a big way, Matty Ice. And start next week when the boys are back in town and all together, we will be on another platform. And we also want to thank Northeast Streaming Sports Network for having us back on. Let's say hello to all the viewers out there on Roku television, YouTube, Facebook Live, and all other social media platforms.
Yep.
So, hello, everyone out there who is tuning in, and thank you for tuning in each and every week.
Now,
all right.
That's amazing.
That is, Matty Ice. It's almost the first half of the season. It's almost down to the wire. We got another week left. Aaron Judge is
phenomenal.
The ball off the charts. He had his 32nd home run last night. He's leading the major leagues in almost every category possible.
Insane. It's absolutely insane.
You know, on his way to another MVP. Like, see, he's actually ahead of his numbers when he won the MVP a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Which is stay healthy. That's all we ask. But as we've been watching lately, Louis Gill hit another brick wall last night.
Yeah.
The Yankees are, and thanks to K-Wall, I spoke to K-Wall today.
Oh.
The Yankees are 4-12 in their last 16 games.
Not good.
The ERA on that pitching staff has spiked immensely. I don't know what happened with this team. We hit a wall. Thank God for the great start they had.
Yeah.
We be in worse shape than what we are now.
It'd be like
Of
2023
course,
all over again.
yeah, it's Yankees, Orioles, of course, hitting up the East. I'm not much worried about Boston, but if they grab a couple of good plays, you never know with that team. Toronto, I think, has folded their 10th. Tampa Bay.
They're done.
Yeah. Tim Anderson was also released today by
DFA'd by the Marlins. Yeah,
the Marlins. So, Mr. Attitude.
Mr. Attitude.
All the Yankee fans remember with that incident with Tim Anderson and the White
The
Sox.
Garrett Cole incident. Yeah.
Matty Ice.
Yep.
What are we looking at? Tommy Kahnle came back last night. Thank God for him.
Yeah.
But we need some help. Like K-Wall said today, we need some pitching help. I think it's time we start to hit that red panic button.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The red panic button is for real. This team's ERA has gone up significantly over the last few weeks. We haven't really seen any traction. They got J.D. Davis, which was one of the first moves at the deadline, before the deadline, I should say. And the offense has been struggling. Like outside of Judge, they had to come back from behind, down 5-0 last night. They shouldn't be in that position every single game, unfortunately. But we're at a position now where we don't know what we're going to get from this team moving forward. And this was the same position that they were in 2022. They off that 56-20 start, then the wheels fell off the wagon a little bit, then the Astros passed them by, and then the Guardians passed them by record-wise, and then they made it to the ALCS, but by then they were gassed.
Right. It's either we had the injuries at the beginning of the year, and we came back. I believe that was 17. They all started getting on the injured list. Stanton's going to be out for about a month.
Yeah.
And like they said, why are we paying these guys in their mid-30s all this money with a big contract? It must end. It has to end.
Well, it really depends on who can excel. I mean, Judge is 32 years old, and he's performing like he's 23. Like, it's kind of insane. But again, we got Cole committed to a $324 million contract. We got Stanton committed to a ridiculous contract. And I've heard pursuits that they want to go after Juan Soto after the season's over because he's a free agent at the end of the season.
Right.
If they're going to do that, they're going to have to do one of two things. They're either going to, number one, have to let go of a couple people like Rizzo or LeMahieu, and then, maybe give up a couple prospects via trade to get some cash considerations. Or number two, they just give him a short-term contract, which is what he doesn't want. Because right now you're looking at rumors that the Mets are out there, the Dodgers are out there, the Phillies are out there, and Juan Soto is going to be a prized possession no matter who gets him.
I think he's going to stay a Yankee. I'm going to go on the record right now and say that.
Okay, so July 3rd, 2024. We're going to keep that in mind.
Yeah, write that down. Write that down, baby.
I'm writing it down on a piece of paper.
Also, last night, the mistake in the 5-4 loss to the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
Ben Rice made the base running mistake. When a ball is either hit to your third baseman, your shortstop, or your pitcher, when you're on second, you don't run.
Right.
He unfortunately ran when the ball was hit back to the pitcher. Mistakes happen that I think could have cost them tying the game.
Right.
Because when Judge hit the home run, I believe it was 5-4 after that.
Yeah, it was 5-4 after the home run.
And let me tell you something. That De La Cruz kid, man.
He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
He's throwing 100 miles an hour from shortstop. It's like, don't even get out of the box and run. You're out. You're out before you take your first step.
I mean, this is the guy who hit a cycle in his first 2 weeks in the majors. This guy is an absolute beast. And that Reds team as a whole, the record is not great, but they have potential to make it. I mean, they almost made the playoffs last year, but they finished 500. Like I said before, that National League is full of talent, but they can't seem to put it together. That's the problem.
And that's what happened with Uncle Stevie and the Mets when he went for the big bucks. He signed Verlander and Mad Max, and they just signed this Japanese pitcher. He's out.
Go a second, yeah.
Can the Mets find help? Are they going to start selling off? Does the polar bear Pete Alonso come back?
Well, I have. They should probably sign a guy. His name is Grimace. Because since Grimace threw out the first pitch for the New York Mets, they've actually been, I think, 15-6. It's been something crazy, but they're in the playoff hunt. They're only a game back of the Padres for the last wild card. They're looking really good.
Yep.
They
It's
have a weak schedule. A very weak.
a very weak schedule. You got to take advantage of that. So,
Yeah. Yep.
but no, right now the Mets are looking really good. They got the Nationals right now. They're doing really good. They blew them out of the water last night. So, listen, New York is in a really interesting position right now with baseball. I know we discussed the Knicks and the Rangers in the past, but we're in the baseball season right now. We're halfway through, and it's looking like the Mets. I didn't expect them to do this far. I mean, you had Jorge Lopez throw his glove in the stands, and all of a sudden they're above 500, and they're looking really good. And they could be a possible playoff team.
Right. It's all about who your manager is too. I was surprised they didn't go after someone. I feel Buck Showalter got the short end of the stick.
He did. He really did.
One of the great managers out there.
Yeah.
And we know Girardi is, I think, waiting in the wings over in the Bronx. He's
Yeah.
back with the Yes Network. Are they calling for Booney's head yet?
It's close. It's close to doing that. It's very, very close to it being that side away because Boone is the kind of guy who will get you off to a hot start, but then when the wheels start to fall off the wagon, then he gets flustered with his roster moves. I mean, let me tell you a mistake that he made last night. Trent Grisham's batting 8th in the lineup, bottom of the 9th. Why don't you put Oswaldo Cabrera in to pinch hit for Trent Grisham, who's played outfield in the past? You could have done that. That's mistake number one. Mistake number two, just like you said before, I mean, base running errors by Ben Rice, who, he's a young kid, but again, that's heads up baseball right there that you got to be able to pat down. And I know he's new, but you got to prep these people up and be smart about your decisions. Like I said, and I haven't said this much, Oswaldo Cabrera should be in the lineup every game for the Yankees.
Right.
And you want to know why I believe that? Because he's got all the tools. He can hit, he can run, he can steal bases, he's smart, he has very long at bats, which is great for going against pitchers. It's all he's the total package.
Right.
And
so you got ever since DJ LeMahieu came back, he hasn't been the DJ of old. He's not spraying the ball to the opposite field.
yeah.
When that's even with Gleyber Torres. I think Gleyber's days as a Yankee might be numbered. We said this, I think, a year or so ago. They had mentioned his name in trade talks.
Yeah.
Cabrera could have kept playing third. You could have made DJ your designated hitter. Yeah, Judge DHing last night, and an outfield of
a lot of decisions.
Verdugo, Grisham, Soto in the outfield.
Yeah.
Ben Rice over at first with LeMahieu at third. Shortstop was Volpe, and your second baseman, of course, Gleyber Torres. But something has got to give soon with this team. Let's get back on the other side of Carl's team right now, the Philadelphia Phillies. The kid in his first off pitched an awesome game last night. Trey Turner knocked the tar out of the ball right out of Wrigley. I think the ball is still rolling down the hill of the street out there somewhere in Chicago. But this team is the package. And once those three big guys come back, in Harper and Schwarber and Realmuto, they're going to run away with that division. I think, what are they, 8.5 up on the Bravos?
They're 55-20. They're 56-29 right now. Right. And I think that means, and the Braves are 8 games above 500. So they're the lead is significant between them and the Braves. Significant.
That's what I said. If you want to win that division, you either stay pace with Atlanta or just go ahead of them, because who knows if he's coming back or not.
Yeah.
The Braves could be in a bit of a trouble here. And if you look at the standings and the teams we're accustomed to seeing making the playoffs, not
Right.
there. Are a lot of these teams are rebuilding. What happened with St. Louis? St. Louis was always there. That organization lost. Not that they lost.
Yeah.
Guys, step back from the game. With the Pujols and the Molinas, and I think you got Goldschmidt is still out there.
Goldschmidt's still out there. Arenado's not going to last much longer there, but the Cardinals are in a wild card position. They're only 44-40, but they're still in position to make the playoffs.
And that's the great thing about the second playoff spot, the second wild card, is, and this is why we love doing a show. It's the under the radar teams who don't spend Dodger money, spending $1 billion in free agency.
Right.
The Dodgers, you make it, you get knocked out of the playoffs like you did in the first round all the time. And it's like they're becoming what the Braves were. If you remember when the Braves dominated the American League, the National League West, and when they did the realignments, they stuck them in the East, giving the Mets and the Phillies a run for their money in that division.
Right.
They did all the realignments, and we'll see. It's early yet.
Yeah.
Let's see after the All-Star break, which is next week, or the 16th. No, we got another week, right? 2 weeks.
Week. Yeah, about 2 weeks. Yeah.
So, of course, the All-Star game is in Texas at Globe Life,
Mm-hmm.
home of the under 500 world champion Texas Rangers.
What disappointment.
What about Arizona as well?
Arizona. I mean, the two teams that made the World Series are below 500 right now.
Very good. A lot of these teams, worst to first or vice versa. A lot of teams did that. Seattle, of course, we always like Seattle with the young talent on that team.
Yeah.
They're on top of the AL East, West. I'm sorry. And right behind them is Houston. Started picking up a little momentum.
Yeah.
But they did lose last night.
Yeah.
They had won 8 straight, and now they're on a losing track again.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on in baseball.
One thing I really want to get into really quick. Sorry to cut you off.
Go right ahead. No. Go right ahead.
So just for those of you who are new watching this show on Roku TV, and for those who are going to be new at Garden State Radio, I want to mention that this brand, Talkin' Baseball, has opinion pieces every week. And it was my turn to write an opinion piece this week. I did Sal and I did Carl the last 2 weeks. It was my turn. And we spoke a little bit about Aaron Judge, but I want to get back into that because this is something that I think really needs to be said.
Go ahead.
This guy could legitimately do something that hasn't been done since 1956. And for those of you who are wondering, what happened in 1956? Mickey Mantle, the Mick, or the Commerce Comet, as they call him, won the Triple Crown, not just in the American League, but across Major League Baseball. He won the MLB Triple Crown, which is when you lead the entire league, not one league, the entire Major League Baseball in all 3 categories. And I've said that, like I said, I could happen again, but in my opinion piece that I wrote that you can check out, I said that it might not happen ever again. And you want to know why? It's because the pitching wasn't as good back in the 50s. Fewer teams back in the 50s. Its talent was scarce across batters. And then I think what makes this even more significant is that, and you might know this too, Sal, I'm not saying anything about Mickey Mantle. I respect him a lot. The Oklahoma native was a major alcoholic. And he did a lot of things that affected his psyche, affected his health, and it hurt him in the end because he passed away not too long back in 95. But he did some things that were kind of significant that I didn't think we were ever going to see again. But then you got Aaron Judge who comes in, the 6'2" giant from California, comes in and he knows how to rake the ball. He's doing something that he did in 2022, if not better than what he did in 2022.
Mhm.
And then you also have to add on the fact that the pitching is better than it was at any point in Major League Baseball. Now that you have the pitch clock, the pitchers are dialed in now. And
I
when
hate that thing so much.
you and I have different opinions on that one. But I think that like the pitchers, like the skill that they have, the amount of pitches that you see, the curve, everything, the style is just so different. Plus the talent is, I wouldn't say overall talent is as good as it was back in the 50s. I did say talent was scarce, but when the league-wide batting average is 244, 245, it doesn't really impress you player-wise, but the talent is still there. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, best player in the world across the entire world,
Mhm.
is Aaron Judge's biggest rival. And then people don't even know this. Luis Rengifo of the Angels is having a good season too. Like,
Yeah.
people didn't even know that.
What
And
about the guy on Baltimore who just he
yeah, Gunnar
snapped his
Henderson.
25 or 26 game hitting streak?
Yeah, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. Jose Ramirez is having a good year. We mentioned Ellie De La Cruz. He's having a good year, even though the Reds are overwhelming. It's just like the talent is miles and miles and miles long. This generation of Major League Baseball. But Aaron Judge stands along the pack. Now, if he does win the Triple Crown in Major League Baseball, I said it in my article, it would be like a video game type thing. Because you never, ever, ever see stuff like this in today's game. And I know Miguel Cabrera was the last person to win the Triple Crown, but that was in the American League alone.
Mhm.
That was like a single league. It's like kissing your sister. It doesn't really count as a whole thing. But this guy could be the face of the game. I mean, we could see number 99 retired for all we know. I mean, he's 32 years old. He's doing this. When Mickey Mantle won that Triple Crown, he was 25.
Oh wow.
Think of it. 32 years old, Aaron Judge, 6'2". A guy who's built differently compared to what we see from major league players.
And also remember, the old Yankee Stadium was a lot bigger in the outfield than the two previous ones that we're accustomed to seeing games.
Yes, 100%. But I sent you the article, Sal, about I wrote. I just wanted to get that out of the way because I feel like that's one of the major things that I had to get off my chest about Aaron Judge and the pace that he's on right now. And I want to get your thoughts on the whole thing because we talked about it a little bit. What would you say if Judge did win the Triple Crown across Major League Baseball?
Oh wow. I remember last year when we all panicked. Me, Kev, of course, you. We didn't know where Aaron Judge was headed.
Yeah.
We thought he was going back to California, to San Francisco. I think, not just me, I think we all thought that deal was a done deal.
Yeah.
And he was in Italy, I think Aaron Boone or Judge was. No, it was Aaron Boone.
Yeah.
He was away, and I believe it was a Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And the phone call came very early in the morning that Judge was going to come back. The Giants believed that they had signed Aaron Judge, lock, stock, barrel.
Right.
Aaron turned the page on him and says, "I'm going back home where I belong in the Bronx."
Yep.
He is the captain. He was the captain after Derek Jeter, who
Yep.
had. What could you say about the captain Derek Jeter? And if you go into Yankee Stadium now, it's not. We don't feel the ghost like we used to.
No.
But if you look at the numbers retired and you go, oh wow, the Gator Ron Guidry, who 19 struck out all those battles, the California Angels at the time.
Yeah.
Wins 20-something ball games with a low ERA, guaranteed George Steinbrenner at the one-game playoff in Fenway with Bucky Bleepin Dent hitting that home run for Mike Torres. And it's history. The Yankees came back from 14 games to win another title in the East, back-to-back World Series that, Yankee lore history. The Yankees, if you go back into the 50s and 60s and how many in the 40s, how many they won in a row.
Right.
And after 78, they lost to the Dodgers in 81. And from there on until about early 90s, the Yankees started picking up the pace again. And if anybody saw the special I was talking about last week,
Yep.
you could catch it on Hulu, I believe. It was about the 1990 Yankees and what a train wreck that was. Folks, if you didn't see that, you got to watch it.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're a Yankee fan. If not, it's still a great documentary. The Yankees, I remember going to opening day from 83 on till I forgot what year. You couldn't get tickets anymore because 90 they started picking up the pace. And I remember being there in 96 at the snow with Andy Pettit pitching and watching Dwight Gooden's no-hitter that May against the Seattle Mariners. And Jerome Williams made the phenomenal catch in the outfield to save that in the early innings. We talk about great pitchers, Doc Gooden, and you talk about Mickey Mantle falling off the wagon. Gooden and Strawberry could have been. Hey, I think if Darryl didn't, we don't judge people for what they did. You did it, you did it. That's baseball. It's in all sports.
Absolutely.
I believe he would have been the guy to break the record for home runs
if he didn't get hurt.
If he didn't come to his dead end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When Roger Maris broke the record, when Roger Maris broke the record, he went through a lot of anxiety after that.
Yeah.
He lost his hair.
Yeah, and you can see how they used to push him out of the dugout.
Yeah.
They get him and Maris. They used to push them out for the ovation. I wish I was living in those days, man. But I seen a home run by Darryl Strawberry at the old Yankee Stadium. If it didn't hit the side of the upper deck, that would have hit the 4 train.
Yeah.
That's how much power that man had. And when before Bonds retired and the San Francisco Giants showed up at Yankee Stadium, Bonds hit one in the upper deck that almost could have went out. So if you see the ball players from then to now, if you do your research, folks, and watch the MLB Network, and you see all these games, even on TikTok and other media platforms, they're showing the old lineups for the All-Star games, and you watch some of these All-Stars back in the day, and Ricky Henderson, the all-time Major League stolen base record. All these guys, Roger Clemens, over 3,000. Pete Rose with the 4,000. It's this guy with 3,000 strikeouts. Randy Johnson. Nolan Ryan. The list goes on. Tom Seaver.
Yep.
And Goose Gossage. The Goose used to go 4 innings before a save. These guys are bringing a guy in the 8th inning, pitching a 1 guy. All right, next.
Now, one thing that I really wanted to mention, this is I know a lot of historic pitchers in baseball. Like, I feel like the pitching talent now is better than it was back then. But let me ask you a question: if Aaron Judge played in the steroid era, how do you think that would have been?
Aaron Judge in the steroid era, 80 home runs,
something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Break a couple of light bulbs up in the rafters.
Oh yeah, in the old Yankee Stadium. They'd be way out of the park. But no, it's crazy. This guy hits moonshots. And I watched a documentary. I've mentioned this. Like, Sal, you were talking about a documentary that you see on Hulu about the 1990 Yankees. There's an ESPN 30 for 30 that I watch from time and time again when I think about baseball. It's called Long Gone Summer. And if you don't know what it's about, I'll tell you what it's about. So it's about 2 men, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa.
Oh, wow. That was, yep.
In 1998, had the home run race of the century, where they both hit 70 and 66 home runs respectively. They brought baseball fans back to the ballpark, even though both teams, the Cubs and Cardinals, weren't great at the time.
And what was the reason?
Because of the home runs?
No, not only that. Remember, it was the strike.
Strike, yeah.
And they needed to bring the fans back to the stadium. So when they talk about steroid era, does baseball have a part in that where, all right, guys, we need the fans back. Did they give them permission to do it on the cuff? There's a lot of things we don't know about that.
Yeah,
That,
Bud Selig.
that's what I believe.
Yeah,
You know,
Bud Selig probably had some things under the carpet that he probably could have revealed, but that's kind of amazing. But anyway, long story short, Long Gone Summer talks about how McGuire and Sosa brought the fans back to baseball. It was a bonanza, and then in the end, they're paying the price for their success.
right?
And to this day, Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, like they've both said, you know what? If we're not in the Hall of Fame, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, we saved the sport that really needed help. So they sacrificed their legacies for baseball.
So
And
the Bonds, Bonds, I believe, also.
yeah, Bonds did the same thing. He took steroids. I mean, you talked about before. His head was like a watermelon at one point at the steroids.
That's right. Now, if you remember him with the Pittsburgh Pirates and how different he is, and if you watch him over his career, so I don't think they needed to do that. Especially now, if you look at the old stadiums back in the day,
Yep.
the old cookie cutter stadiums, when we had the Vet and the Pirates had theirs, Cincinnati Reds, St. Louis Cardinals. It was turf in Toronto one time. The Astros had the Astrodome. And if you look at all these bigger ballparks then, and even Shea Stadium wasn't as big, you know, they did move in the fences at Citi Field for the hitters, you know, and all these new stadiums coming out. It's like, what if? And we always said, what are the two biggest words that we say all the time?
What if?
Right. Like you said, what if Judge was in that era? What if we split the great hitters in half? What about Mike Trout?
Good one.
The man was great. Back problems like Mattingly had. And what if Mattingly didn't have his back problems? What if he would have stuck around another year with the Yankees?
He probably would have been in the Hall of Fame.
And would have been a world champion.
Yeah.
You know, that home run in '95, and you it still rings to the top of the day. Hold on to the roof.
Yep.
The Yankee Stadium was about to fall apart after Donnie baseball like that. And you're touching about Sosa and
McGuire.
What about the hitting for the American League batting title, Boggs and Mattingly?
Right.
Boggs would sit out 1 or 2 games to see if Donnie could catch up to him.
That's right.
You know, he was basically saying, okay, Donnie, this is all you now. Let's see what you got. And I was at the old Yankee Stadium when Winfield and Mattingly were going at it 1-2 for the American League batting title.
Yep.
So baseball is in a great spot. We read the averages of fans during Father's Day weekend.
Yep.
They broke records, and they still are breaking attendance records. Stadiums are getting 40+ thousand. The Phillies are selling out almost every home game in Philadelphia.
Crazy.
No matter the team they're playing, and they got some homestand coming up. I mean, the Astros are coming in with the Braves in the same week. You got the Yankees at the end of this month. Could it be a potential World Series rematch from '09?
Right.
You know, and we keep talking about, you know, they won 4 in a row. Yeah, but it's not the same players.
No, it's not.
Yeah, the organization won 4 in a row, but not the. This isn't the awesome '98 Yankee team, including playoffs, winning 125 games.
Oh yeah,
unheard of. That's the team you want to build. If you want to build a team, you build it around veterans and rookies who can gel.
Yeah.
And that's what that '98 team was about. Chad Curtis in the outfield.
Chad Curtis.
You know,
Bernie, Derek Jeter.
Burn, baby, burn. Yep.
Wetland as your closer. Mo in his prime, early in his career.
Look at that. That's a dangerous duo. Rivera, Wetland. And then after Wetland left, you passed it right off to the guy who is now most saves in a Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and the only unanimous Hall of Famer in Cooperstown. The only one.
All right. Not
The
even
only
Derek Jeter. Jeter missed by one.
Jeter missed by one. To this day, the person who did not vote Derek Jeter into the Hall of Fame is probably hiding somewhere. Who knows where he is?
He made a comment about that, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
I think during a speech, yeah. But Jeets, I could see him or Joe Torre as the next commissioner of baseball. Maybe Jeter.
That's one thing I actually wanted to say. So, obviously, for those of you who don't know, Rob Manfred's going to be gone in 2028, I believe. 2029. He'll
Probably
be
sooner.
gone. He'll be gone. But we're trying to figure out who the next commissioner of Major League Baseball is. And I want to give a shout out to my friend Loro Antonio from California, diehard Dodgers fan. You rock, Loro. He said that Joe Torre, who's been a big ambassador and a big sponsor and a big name across Major League Baseball, even though he's not managing anymore, should be the next commissioner for the league. And the reason why is because name recognition, popularity, he's intelligent and savvy. Like, he could bring in people, the old school fans who watch the Yankees hardcore back in the 90s. He could bring them in back, and the game could be consistent. Because one thing I don't like about Rob Manfred is that everything changes on a consistent basis. I mean, for example, like the home run rules for the home run derby this time around, they changed it where it's not an 8-person bracket anymore. It's an 8-person contest, and then the top 4 get a bracket. 1, 4, 2, 3, and then
Really?
yeah, no, and like in the opening round, you have to throw. Get this: 40 pitches in 180 seconds. 40 in 180 seconds. That means you have to throw a pitch every 4.5 seconds. My wrist doesn't even flick in 4.5 seconds. So that should just tell you everything you need to know. Like, so you're going to have to, you can't force balls out of your hand. You can't underhand the baseball if you're throwing in a home run derby. It's just out of control.
Yeah, remember when the All-Star game was home field advantage for the team, the American League or National League?
Yeah.
For the World Series, which, come on, you want to change the rules for a game that's been around longer than half this universe. There was a certain rule book. Having a double day, Cooperstown, New York. You want to speed the game. You're putting a guy at second, pitch clock. Come on now. This is baseball. It's not softball. It's baseball. Let's get rid of the nonsense and stop it already.
See, here's the thing. The reason why Rob Manfred implemented those rules was because he wanted to bring the game back to the younger generation who feel like who are impatient for baseball. Unfortunately, we've grown accustomed to an era where youngsters, not like me, but other youngsters, just feel like have a slow attention span to paying attention to baseball. That's why they implemented the rules, because the younger generation are not patient. They don't pay attention as much. And unfortunately, change has to be implemented to bring in as many fans as you can. You want to know why they do this? To bring in as many fans. Ching, 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 ching. That's
and also now they have early morning and 11 o'clock games on Roku now.
Yeah.
So they're trying every social media platform. It didn't work with Facebook.
Apparently. No, that was a bomb.
Where does it go from here? I'm 57 now, so where does baseball go from here when I'm not around anymore? So your generation,
yeah,
we'll see all the new changes if there's any. But I believe we need a voice. The fans need to hear it, and some of the old school fans, it's nice. You go to a game, you're spending all this money.
Yeah.
But by the time you go look for parking, you're in traffic. They speeding up these games. By the time you know it, it's the 5th inning already.
Yeah.
And you're missing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I get where you're going with the pitch clock. I understand where you're going with it. Like, I know 15 seconds per pitch is kind of, it's 15 with no men on, 18 with men on. So
okay, but now if I don't, as a batter, if I step in the box and don't look at you, I get a pitch clock violation.
Yeah, that happened to Verdugo not too long ago.
Did it happen to Altuve the other day, Shay? I mean,
Yeah, it did. It happened to Altuve recently, and then it happened to Verdugo in Toronto.
Yeah, but if you read Altuve's lips, he goes, "You didn't even give me a warning."
Yeah. No,
That happened
Altuve was livid about that one. He was livid.
Yeah. So it's nonsense, man. It's just total nonsense.
But like, do you think those changes would be taken away if someone like Torre or Jeter were at the helm running the league?
Let's put it this way: you have how many seconds with nobody on? 18?
15. 15 with no one on.
With no one on. Okay. Now the pitchers and catchers where this thing now that supposedly is telling you I want you to throw a fastball and short instead of showing
Yeah.
and instead of showing your fingers, and the catchers back in the day used to put nail polish on their nails, all white out to call a pitch.
Yeah.
And
What a nuts.
And game is, come on, it's not a game. What are you speeding up? And it's funny, like we were talking about the manager and the batter or whoever gets thrown out for I'm going to argue balls and strikes. But how come an umpire doesn't get punished for making a bad call?
That was one of the first things you said, yeah.
Angel Hernandez, thank God, get out. You don't have to worry about him or Joe Buck anymore. So why can't we see an umpire get punished for making a bad call? Why can't they get fined?
You know what's funny? Because referees in other sports get punished, which is funny. You mentioned that. I can't even tell you how many referees in the NFL got punished for making a bad call or for doing something illegally that they shouldn't have done. And yeah, the NBA, they get off scot-free. They get off scotch-free in the NBA. And then the NHL, there's not really much you can do on the NHL level. I mean, everyone's on ice. But baseball, I understand. Like, the ref determined the game. Every ball strike call is on you because you're the main reason. And I mentioned TrackMan before in the past, and you've said, oh, that would ruin everything. But one of the reasons why I think umpires don't get punished is because they are heavily prioritized to call a game right down the middle.
Right.
And if you fine them or punish them, then that's just going to make their job even more stressful and people get burned out and they might not enjoy the job as much. But I've done some research when I was at Rutgers University that unfortunately umpires are not perfect. The error ratio, I think back in 2015, I think was 20% error ratio. And what that means is that like 1/5 of the pitches you call are wrong.
Wow.
That was back in 2015.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, I've been watching the game. I mean, I'm 57. I've seen the Yankees play at Shea in 74, 75 around there when they were rebuilding Yankee Stadium again, when they refurbished it.
Yeah.
I'm taking a walk, trying to get my knee back. My knee gave out the other day again. So
pretty soon, Sal, when your knee gets better, you'll be taking spin classes with me.
Oh boy. Yeah, we got to direct call into that, Talking spin baseball.
Talking spin. But no, spin's good for you. Spin's good for you. But in essence, baseball has gone through a dramatic amount of changes. And
yes, we had a lot of strikes.
Let me
tell you something. Remember the scab players?
Yeah.
People remember the scab players.
I remember the scabs, yeah.
That almost, it was close. Not almost. It was close that fans weren't coming back after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was scary. The 2022 strike was scary. Yeah. We had 100 days without baseball.
I remember that. Kevin K-Wall lost his marbles, and he called it. He called it. Kevin called it that time.
He called it. He was right. He was right that there was going to be a strike.
A strike on top of COVID. And
yeah, the pandemic definitely drew fans away. That was also a killer.
Not only that, it was a killer. I remember winning tickets to a Yankee White Sox game on a fan in New York. You know, shout out to those guys. Okay, well,
Yeah.
but it was crazy, man. We didn't go off the air. I said, wait a minute, that people need something to brighten their day. Talking baseball, we even though we did it from home,
Yeah.
and that all happened when Carl and I got back from South Hills, PA, with the mayor Sean Casey and the commissioner Schweck.
Yeah, Miracle League.
And and right after that, and shout out to Miracle League all over the place.
Yep.
We hope to catch everyone back with the Miracle League. We miss everybody.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what we do, man. And like I said, we used to do a lot of stuff at Miracle League for your dad with the Grace Foundation of New York, and help raise money for autism. Folks, we are just getting started, right, Matt? And
third show back. Third show.
Talking Baseball is going to be doing some road shows like we used to. You know, we got to get things going.
Yep.
As the kids are riding their bikes around the town here, getting ready for 4th of July. We want to wish everybody a safe, happy, healthy 4th of July. Watch out for the fireworks.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
know, if you're driving down to Manhattan, you know, along the FDR and the Macy's fireworks display. Remember the stadiums used to do fireworks night? Folks?
I remember, and I think the Yankees are doing fireworks night tonight.
We had the Garucci brothers, the Garucci fireworks family. That family's been around long. I don't know if they still do it, but that's a big name thrown around out there. The Garucci fireworks, I believe, did all the Manhattan ones. I think they did. I remember going to a Yankee game a long time ago. They did the fireworks, and they had like the Star Wars figure characters like along the outfield grass that just like sparklers, you know, nothing too fancy. But last weekend the Phillies had it.
Yep.
They had now it's a new thing with these drone things now. If you ever seen these drone light shows, which is pretty amazing. But the fireworks and all that, you know. Folks,
pretty amazing.
Yes, everybody happy, healthy.
Happy healthy 4th of July. I want to give a shout out to our first comment, Lorianne Sorrentino, also known as Mi Madre. Happy 4th, guys. Happy 4th to you, Mi Madre. You're awesome.
Yes. The old family over there. How are you?
Yep, they're great people. They're awesome people.
Yeah.
But I also want to say, you know, being part of the show again, like I took a little bit of a layoff. I've also been doing Siriani Says Sports. I actually give a shout out to some of the people that got me here. First off, Leslie Angioletti and my mother, Lorianne Sorrentino, who I just mentioned in the comment, my father, Darren Siriani, Ryan Behringer Jr., my cousin. I love you, man. Even though you're a little bit of a loose cannon, I love you to death. My friend Laura Antonio from California. I mentioned you before. You're cool. You're a great guy. We'll have you on the show eventually. I know you're a diehard Dodger fan. We'll happily welcome you into the family, and you know we'll get you comfortable. Also, my two close friends, James Hartman and Giulio Bianchi, big time filmmaker guys. They're the reason why I still continue to do this, and they always continue to support my career aspirations. And when I came here to do this show, they were 100% on board. Lee Mazikian, I want to give a shout out to you. I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah, big Lee.
July.
We got to come back, Lee. We got to come back.
We're going to come back, Lee. And listen, Lee, I might not be an employee anymore, but you know, I still got your number, and I know you want to do the show eventually with me. And I'll talk to you after the 4th of July because, you know, Talking Baseball wants to come back on the patio. Hopefully when it's not dreadfully hot. Because that was a nightmare. That was a nightmare. It was like
it was good.
Hell down there. It was like hell over there the last time we went. It was,
you know, and it's going to be a big one. A nice outdoor show like that. Not only with the guys from Shared.
Yep.
You know, hopefully Radio Garden State can come down as well. You know, we'll have one big show with a lot of equipment going on. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a few bands to play, like my friend. I'm going to make a big announcement for all you music fans, like Bruce Springsteen and Elvis. July 20th, 8 o'clock, the big show, and a really big show, at the Cape May Convention Center, right off the boardwalk in Cape May. The Boss and the King, a tribute to Springsteen and Elvis Presley. Folks, tickets are available. If you go to Cape May Convention Center, look online, come down. It's going to be one of the best tribute shows you've ever seen. And I'm not just saying this because I know these gentlemen for 30 years and better.
Yeah.
But some of the greatest musicians from New York, New Jersey, Rob belting out some of Springsteen's best tunes. Richie, Elvis tribute artist, doing Elvis all through the years. So come on down. You will not be disappointed in this show.
No, absolutely. And for those of you who are also into music, I know quite a few cover bands that perform here in the state of New Jersey. Sal, I know you're in Philadelphia, but there are a ton of cover bands that are in this state of New Jersey that are absolutely positively talented.
Oh, yeah.
We got 7 minutes left in the show. I might as well just give a little shout out to some of the cover bands. Cover bands usually come out in the summer because that's the best time to do it. If you're gonna watch a cover band, I have a couple destinations. Like you can go. Don't go to Parker House in Belmar because that place, it's a basement where you're literally crowded amongst people and you can't move. But like there are bands like The Cliffs, there are bands like Brian Kirk and the Jerks, there are bands like Mushmouth, there are bands like oh my god, Original Copy, Kristen and the Noise. I can name all these cover bands because I see them.
You want to know a good band? There's a couple I know. The Nerds.
The Nerds are great. Yeah.
Screaming Broccoli.
Okay.
There's another great band. The guys I knew, and I remember hanging out with AJ Perro from Twisted Sister, the legendary drummer of that band back in the day. I met a lot of musicians along the way, hanging out with my friends, playing a bit around the Manhattan, down in the Village, and that's, I've always been a fan of Kiss, Bon Jovi, of course.
Yep.
Always wanted to get behind a mic and sing. I only do karaoke.
Same. I do karaoke too. That's all I do.
Yeah, that and live band karaoke. I wish I had a band to back up what I love. Do a little 40th anniversary of Bon Jovi.
Yep.
He's back, with his new album Forever. And it's number one. His song Legendary is number one. John's been on his hiatus for a bit, due to vocal surgery. But, it's not easy being a musician, not easy being a baseball player, football, hockey, tip my hat to everybody, even WWE, AEW wrestlers, all the independent wrestlers.
Yeah.
Putting all their necks out on the line, folks, in any sport, providing for their families like we do back here behind the mic, and this is what we do. We love doing this. I'm glad we're back after a year. It's been a long time coming. My health is getting better and better. Got to watch what we eat when we get older, but we're good. My new look with the beard and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good.
Feeling good at 57, man, and we can only get better as we age. We age like fine wine.
That's a good one. All right, we got 4 minutes left, I think. T minus 4. So
right.
For the final,
shut up, brother. Go ahead.
All right, so for the final 4 minutes, I mentioned before I put out my opinion piece much earlier than I anticipated, because when the creative juices are flowing, you got to roll with it. I was putting out the hot headlines article this week, and I was saying to myself, you know what? This opinion piece, I already have an idea. And also, I want to do the hot headlines really quick. So I mentioned Aaron Judge's pace right now. He's leading all major league categories right now, or almost all the major league categories. That's the first headline. The second headline, and I'm wondering if we can find that, CJ, try and go to ESPN or some other website. I think the All-Star rosters have been revealed.
They final already?
Yeah, the voting ended at noon today. We'll see. So let's go. So let's see right now.
And it's going to be crazy because with all the guys on the IL like Bryce Harper and Schwarber, Mookie Betts. Yeah. I think I don't know if Bryce Harper is going to play or not, but he might. From what I heard, and I bumped this to somebody from another radio station that I had to give a call to another station. and they're thinking about us as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed with that one.
Okay, so we do have the All-Star revealed. I don't know if we can show the video because we would be we would be turned off for that. We don't want to get hit with a copyright. So
let me play it here.
I think you can just go to Google and just find it. I think that'd be probably the best idea to do. So
Oh, you go to MLB app.
or MLB.com or whatever works. Whatever floats your boat. We just can't get hit with copyright. That's all that matters. All-Star game starters that posted 2 hours ago. Let's take a look at this. So this is how we're going to close the show. We're going to close the show by revealing the All-Star starters for every single league. Okay.
All right, Matty Ice, take it away.
From the American League, we're going to start off with at first base, Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Now,
At
how is Vlad hurt?
He's fine.
Oh, I heard he was hit on the hand by Cole, of course.
Yeah, he got hit on the hand by Cole, but he's going to be okay. Second base, Jose Altuve.
Ooh,
Shortstop, Gunnar Henderson, his first All-Star game.
Nice.
Third base, Jose Ramirez, his third All-Star game.
Nice.
Catcher, Adley Rutschman, first All-Star game. So you got back-to-back Orioles making their debuts. Designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez. Apparently, it's his first All-Star game. Shocking.
Oh, wow. Well, he took over because I think Stanton did have the lead in that.
Yeah, Stanton had the lead and got hurt. And then he lost traction. And then the outfield, Aaron Judge. This is his sixth All-Star game. Juan Soto, his first All-Star selection. Shocking.
Really?
And then Stephen Kwan of the Guardians, also his first All-Star selection.
That's what I like to see. Get those guys in. First time All-Stars. Get them in there.
So now that's our American League. Now our National League, we got a very limited amount of time, so I'm going to go really fast. First base, Bryce Harper, Philadelphia Phillies, seventh All-Star game. Ketel Marte on second base for the Diamondbacks, second All-Star selection. Shortstop, Trey Turner. He beat out Mookie Betts, second All-Star selection. Third base, Alec Boehm, first All-Star selection.
Oh, 3 Phillies. Yeah, infield.
3 Phillies, wow. Catcher, William Contreras of the Brewers, first All-Star selection. And then designated hitter, no surprise, Shohei Ohtani, fourth All-Star selection. And then the outfield, Christian Yelich of the Brewers, second All-Star selection.
That's all? Wow.
Jerickson Profar, congratulations, man. You made your first All-Star game.
Nice.
And then followed by him is his fellow teammate, Fernando Tatis Jr., making his second All-Star game appearance.
Wow. It'd be interesting to see the pitching rotation because, they don't want to cram up the starters when their next day is. But great job, Matty Ice.
Yeah.
And, of course, great job, CJ. Thank you so much for producing tonight's show.
Yep.
And we're on the cusp of 1 minute. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you always tuning in for Talking Baseball with Sal Angioletti. I'm Sal, of course. That is my main man right there, Matty Ice. Thank you for tonight, Matty Ice. Shout out to Big C, Carl. K-Wall, as always. We're all family still, whether you're here or not.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you next week. As we're always doing our homework. Have a safe and healthy, happy 4th of July tomorrow.
With a brand new platform to listen to us on.
Yes. Next week, our very first show on Radio Garden State. You better tune in, or Matty Ice is going to come get you with the new WWE Bloodline. Doing another sports show, we might get back into doing something different, talking all different sports on another segment. But
absolutely,
as always, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, all around baseball, all around, wherever you are, stay
classy.